Manchester United have lost €6 million from their sale of Mason Greenwood to Marseille. That is according to The Times, who report that United will not take home all of the €32 million transfer fee paid by Marseille for the forward. Instead, Getafe will receive €6 million of the money due to a sell-on clause they negotiated when they signed Greenwood on loan last season. Premier League Summer Transfers 2024, all the done deals. Greenwood spent the 2023-24 season at Spanish side Getafe. He scored 10 goals and provided 6 assists in 36 appearances for the club as they finished 12th in the La Liga table. Getafe were unable to afford to keep him permanently but will now benefit from his permanent sale from Man United. Greenwood leaves Man United. Greenwood, who has signed a 5-year deal at Marseille, was put up for sale after it became clear it was impossible for him to continue his career at Man United. Greenwood hadn't played for Man United since he was arrested in January 2022 on suspicion of rape and assault. The Englishman's charges were dropped after key witnesses pulled out last year, and he returned to football with a loan spell at Lazio, Juventus, Napoli and Borussia Dortmund had all been linked with signing Greenwood in recent months, but it was Marseille who completed the deal. Manchester United could re-sign Mason Greenwood in the future after inserting a buyback clause in his Marseille contract. However, it appears unlikely they will activate that. Greenwood scored 35 goals in 129 games for Man United and was expected to become a key player for club and country until his off-field problems. New Marseille boss Roberto De Zerbi is delighted with the signing of Greenwood. He told the media, "Mason is a world-class player. I don't know what happened, but I am not used to get involved in my players' private life. But you have to know that I treat all my players like my sons. I can tell them off in private, but I would never attack them in public." Greenwood has won 1 cap for England, but it is hard to see him playing for his country again. After last season's worst-ever Premier League finish, the entire Manchester United squad has a point to prove ahead of the new campaign. But for 2 players in particular, the new season represents a significant shot at redemption and a chance to remind the football world of their unique gifts. For Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho, last season was one to forget, a campaign both will no doubt look back on with recrimination and a sense of regret. Rashford was coming off the back of a career-best 30-goal season, one which earned him a lucrative new long-term contract worth £350,000 a week. But the 26-year-old imploded in spectacular fashion, managing just 8 goals in total, amid off-field transgressions, including a boozy bender in Belfast, which saw him fined and dropped by Erik ten Hag. The most damning indictment of Rashford's miserable season came with his omission from England's squad for Euro 2024 and their valiant push to lift the trophy. Last season followed a similar path for Sancho, a run-in with ten Hag early in the season, when he effectively branded his boss a liar, leading to him being exiled from the squad and forced to train alone. Salvation came in the form of a loan move back to former club Borussia Dortmund for the second half of the campaign, with a run to the Champions League final, but it was a season to forget for Sancho, just like Rashford. Against that backdrop, both face huge expectations going into the new season, although there is a scenario whereby neither could be a United player come the end of the transfer window. Despite Ten Hag having insisted he and Sancho have drawn a line and we move on following their public fallout, United remain willing to sell the 24-year-old winger if they can get around half of the £73 million they paid Dortmund for him in 2021. The same is true of Rashford. For all Ten Hag's positive rhetoric about the England forward, United are open to selling their poster boy if a club matches their £60 million valuation, although as one club source indicated recently there simply isn't a market for Rashford, given his spectacular fall from grace. So although United remain open to offers for both, using any revenue from their sales to fund upgrades on both, it seems likely Rashford and Sancho will remain at Old Trafford, although neither can afford a repeat of last season's shortcomings. Rashford's pre-season has so far consisted of an underwhelming 45-minute outing in a meek 1-0 defeat away to Norwegian side Rosenborg, the day after England's agonising Euro 2024 final loss to Spain. He missed the 2-0 win away to Rangers at the weekend, with an unspecified but supposedly minor injury problem, one that has not prevented him from flying out with the rest of the squad to Los Angeles today for the start of United's 3-game US tour. Sancho was brought back in from the cold by Ten Hag for that win at Murrayfield, and showed flickers of the skill that made United willing to make him the 5th most expensive signing in their history. Throughout last season, Rashford looked burdened by playing for United, the joy and elan he showed in his early years replaced by a scowl and a sense of dread every time he to the pitch. Arguably, his best performance for United last season, like many of Ten Hag's underperforming squad, came in their surprise but fully deserved 2-1 win over local rivals Manchester City in the FA Cup final. Rashford played like his younger self in that sun-drenched Wembley win, with a sense of freedom, purpose and a swagger, playing a key role in United's winner, with a sublime cross-field ball in the build-up to it. Sancho, too, found form towards the end of last season, in Dortmund's path to the Champions League final, which came to an inglorious end against 15-time winners Real Madrid. The challenge for Ten Hag now is to harness the form Rashford and Sancho showed at the end of last season, and use it to motivate both to get back to their best in pre-season and take that newfound confidence into the new campaign. Manchester United have been sent a transfer warning over Ivan Toney via Brentford manager Thomas Frank. Man United are seeking an option in attack to help Rasmus Højlund, with England forward Toney, one of their leading options, despite the fact that 28-year-old has failed to score a competitive goal since mid-February. The former Newcastle player is widely considered to be on the transfer market because he now has less than a year left on his Brentford contract, with the London club unlikely to be willing to let him depart as a free agent next July. Why Arsenal's Calafiori transfer makes a mockery of Man United's Euro deal. Frank, nevertheless, has told Man United to expect significant resistance from Brentford over a player widely considered to be their best. He's a Brentford player and I would love him to stay. That would give me a very positive challenge, the Dane told. But I haven't met a coach who doesn't want as many good players as possible. Right now, Ivan is a Brentford player. I know he's enjoying his well-deserved time off after his time with England. Profile? Who is Chido Obi Martin? Arsenal's teenage sensation wanted by Man United. I would be more than happy if he stayed with us. He's a goalscorer and that's very good to have in your team, so if you want to buy him, it's expensive. Chelsea and Tottenham are also linked with the forward, who impressed off the bench with England at Euro 2024. How much is too much? Brentford wanted upwards of €118 million, £100 million, for the striker during the January transfer window, when the likes of Arsenal were also involved in the race for him. The Bees' asking price was enough to put the Gunners, Chelsea and Man United off at that point. Toney's asking price has dropped significantly, with reporting on the 18th of July that Brentford are now seeking less than €60 million for the player. Football Transfer's estimated transfer value, ETV, suggests that even at this price, Toney would